Hi, my name is Olivia and I'm back with another house tour, so you can see it right here. This is the new house tour and it actually used to be a school, which I find very cool because I'm a teacher. But if you watched my last video, you know that about a month ago, we did make an offer on a house. It was not accepted. Or it hasn't yet been accepted. You never know. They could still come back. But anyways, the hunt is still continuing. We are still looking for our dream home. And by we, I mean my partner Peter and I. So yeah, let's get into this house. It is pretty big actually. It's 265 meters squared. It's around 2,850 square feet, yes. It has two floors. So there's the ground floor, which in the US we call the first floor. And then there's the second floor, which here they actually call the first floor, right? The first floor in the US is the ground floor here, and the second floor in the US is the first floor here. There we go. I got it right. Okay, sorry. So yeah, the house has lots of windows, natural light, which is great, high ceilings, which I like. I think there are 2 fireplaces. So heating, we would want to get insulation on the outside. So hopefully heating won't be too expensive with, you know, high ceilings and lots of windows. This is just the layout really quick. On the bottom floor, it has kind of this grand entrance hallway, which, you know, is a school, so it makes sense to have a big hallway. To the right, there are 2 little spare storage rooms, which are actually big enough we think we could use as like a storage room, but also maybe a gym. And then on the left is a huge garage. There's garage doors, so it must be a garage. Then there's the additional other room. I think we would break down the wall between the 2 rooms on the left and just try to make that into Peter's workshop. And then in the back there is a toilet, and then there is actually a sklep, a cellar in English, a cellar, so that's cool. I did not go down there though. On the second floor, American second floor, Czech first floor, there is a huge living room, obyvací pokoj, on the left, and I guess that used to be it was like a 1-room schoolhouse, so that used to be the main schoolroom, I guess. But we would probably break it into 2 and have kitchen and living room. Peter doesn't want them together, so we would have to build a wall and everything. And then there is the room, the like bedroom off of that, and we would make it a guest bedroom or an office. Then there is a bathroom kind of towards the back and on the left, and there's another spare bedroom office off the back of the house, and then to the right would be our bedroom. So yeah, we do really like the house. We like the layout. I think it works pretty well for us. I think having Peter's garage or like workshop be on the first floor is really great, because if we insulate the whole house, then he can use his workshop all year round. And we can use actually these subsidies. The Czech government gives subsidies for older houses to be remodeled and be more energy efficient. I haven't talked about this yet, but all of the houses we have looked at so far are eligible. And we are thinking if the workshop is separate, we can't use those subsidies, that money, to make his workshop warm or to insulate it. But we can use that money on the house. So if the workshop is in the house, I think it makes more sense for me. He has talked about possibly like noise or something like that. So I guess it's a workshop, right? But I mean, if during the day I'm at work or whatever, I don't think it'll be that big of an issue unless he's, I don't know, drilling, using a chainsaw at 10 o'clock at night. I think it'll be fine. So yeah. And then basically, the location of the house is also in a great location where I want to be. Like I said, I always say we live in Praha, which is the capital city of the Czech Republic, but this house is actually by a town called Česká Lípa, which I haven't actually shared a house by Česká Lípa yet. It is a nice area. It's towards Děčín, which you probably don't know. Unless you're Czech, then obviously you know Děčín, but we love Děčín. There's a Via Ferrata like in the middle of the town that we like to go climbing, so yeah. Anyways, here is the house tour. There are the big garage doors that I was talking about. So this would be part of Peter's workshop. I think we measured them. I'm pretty sure we measured them, and Peter's van can fit through the workshop's doors. Or these garage doors. So that's great. He's very happy about that. He wants to get his van inside, especially over the winter when we're not using it as much. And so yeah, this is just the outside of the house from, I guess, the main entrance. There is a back door. We did not go out it though. And then there's just the door to the main house. The realtor was there showing us around. And yeah, so we go into the house and almost immediately go down into the cellar. I did go into the cellar, I forgot even. But all of the houses start to blend together a little bit. So it's so great that I'm doing these videos because we can go back and just look at these videos to like consider or reconsider houses. This basement had water. Okay. So the basement had water in it, but around the edges was like a canal or a drainage system put in there. So that was kind of weird. But so I guess it's not a problem. Mold doesn't grow, dampness doesn't form. I don't know. Like a lot of these cellars have a problem with dampness, and some places it's like not a problem. There's no other dampness anywhere else, and they just have like a hole in the cellar. Or like this house has carved out canals for the water to go. I don't really know how that works. It's a thing here though. Like it's a legit thing, so I guess I'm not super worried about it. This is another, like you can just see me like just trying to take in. It's really nice. I love the arches. I love like the rounded archways and doorways. Really, really, really love that. So as I showed you before on the layout of the house, to the right is a storage room. Sorry, it's kind of dark. So yeah, there's the storage rooms off to the side, which I think are big enough for a gem. And then in the back, you go towards the back, there's like straight ahead is a bathroom, but whew, to the left, oh my God, it was so hard to breathe. It smelled so bad in there. They used to raise dogs, I guess, or sell dogs. I'm not really sure. And that's where they kept the dogs. It smelled so bad. It was so bad. Yeah. And all of their stuff is in there. This is where they're storing all of their stuff before they've moved everything out. I feel like all of their stuff, like you can just see, like it's huge. It's really nice space. I think Peter would love it. But we are going to have to just strip it down to the bare minimum, like the bare bones, to try and get rid of the smell. And Peter's a little bit hesitant about this house purely because he knows his workshop might smell so bad. Okay, I really think once we get all of the garbage, furniture, all that stuff, once they take all of their stuff out, or if we're left to clean it out, fine. Once we get all of that stuff out, then, and we take down the plaster and everything like that, and replaster and repaint, I think, and like air it out, obviously, I think it will smell okay. I hope it will be all right. Fingers crossed anyways, because it is a great space. And he, like I said, he loves the windows. He really wants the natural light, and he wants a space that he can use all year round. And I just don't know if it'll ever be in the budget for us to have a workshop for him that we can also insulate. There's been lots of houses that have like a barn in the backyard or something like that, and it's a separate building, and I just keep thinking we're not going to be able to insulate it. He's not going to want to use it during the winter, which is a shame when we're trying to buy a property for him to have a workshop, because yeah, he wants to use it, and not half the year, but a part of like one season he wouldn't be able to use. So yeah, there's more storage in the back. There is a door, I think, to the backyard somewhere back there also. It was a mess. It was hard to get through. That's where they were storing all of their stuff. The rest of the house you could easily see because they had moved everything into those two rooms on the left. These are the bathrooms. It used to be what's it called? It used to be a school, so they had a big, I don't know, bathroom area back here, which I'm not against. I was thinking, okay, it's so big. What if we turned it into like a sauna? Because if we put the gym downstairs, then we could have like changing room, shower, toilet, and a sauna. Wouldn't that be amazing? Okay, sorry, I'm getting away with myself, but it would be really cool. And I think there's enough space. I definitely think there's enough space for a sauna, a toilet, and a shower. And then we have the gym right there, and it's just like our own little retreat spa. I would love it so much. It looks horrible right now, obviously. Like the walls are not great. Okay, now that I'm looking at the video again, I feel like, is there damp? Is that mold towards the bottom half, towards the ground? Yeah, okay, maybe. Oh, the majority of the houses have water damage. So we're gonna have to figure out a way how to deal with the water damage. And There are ways to deal with the water damage. This is the spare room off to the other side, which I think this, well, we're not really sure which room is bigger. They might be the same size. The one storage was also full of stuff on the right of the front door, so this room was not full of stuff, so you could easily see the size, and we were thinking like, okay, we could put the gym here, and it's right next to the toilet, and I can have my spa. Wouldn't that be amazing? Sorry. I'm just envisioning me, a teacher, living in an old schoolhouse that just also happens to have a spa on the first floor and a separate gym, okay? That would be cool. Alrighty. The red stairs take us upstairs to the second floor. Sorry, first floor here, second floor in the US. So you go up the stairs and you're on the landing. It is a very big house. Like I said, it's like over 2,000, it's over 2,800 square feet. So it is a very big house, but basically the full bottom floor is Peter's workshop and possibly my gym spa, maybe. So we're on the second floor, and basically it like has a nice layout. When you first come up the stairs, you're kind of towards the back of the house. So there's a bathroom back there. There's an extra room, but as you go to the front of the house, you can see, again, I think this is where the one room classroom was, and it's just this huge big room, which I think is perfect. We can split it up however we want, have the size of the living room that we want, or the size nice big kitchen that I want. And yeah, the windows are great. I think the view isn't like amazing, but it's not bad either. I think it's like in a nice location, so the view isn't bad. There's some old furniture, which I think would be kind of cool to have, but the whole kitchen, like they have a little kitchen in there. It's not that nice. But this is the bedroom off the back of the house, and it's a good sized bedroom. So I think it would be great either for an office space or, like I said, a guest bedroom. The view from here, I think, is just of the backyard, which maybe is slightly better. It's, you know, it's wintertime, there's snow, everything's kind of, you know, barren and doesn't look great. But anyways, this would be the kitchen and the living room. It does have this really, really old stove. We would definitely replace it, but I think it's super cool. I would love to have a wood stove, and it has the fireplace and everything, so I think that would be really nice. Or if we could even get one of those like clay heater, like ceramic stoves that really pump out a lot of heat, because we're kind of worried about staying warm in this big house. So that would be nice. This is the bathroom on the second floor, which is actually also pretty big, so we could make it into like a big guest, not a big guest, but like a big master bathroom, like guest suite, a suite bathroom. I don't know what it's called, but like a big bathroom, like a nice luxurious bathroom. That's what it's called, a luxurious bathroom. This is just a vent that I was looking at. I don't know why. I was like, there's a vent there. Does that help? I guess maybe that's for, you know, like ventilation of the bathroom, steam and stuff like that. So to prevent mold probably would make sense. And then off to the right side of the second floor, there is another bedroom that I think in the back would be another guest bedroom. So this bedroom, it's a good size also. So yeah, I think it would be fine as a guest bedroom. So we could have 2 guest bedrooms, which would be great. And then just to the other side, like I was saying, to the right, they're kind of like 2, like one is like a walk-through bedroom, and then the other is another bedroom, or there's a walk-through room, and then the back is a room. And there's like a sink, or there's a faucet there, as if they had a little kitchenette there. We're not really sure. We were even thinking if we wanted to, we could try and like split up the living space and maybe even create like an Airbnb situation where we could make this completely off, because it is kind of big enough, we feel like, that we could maybe combine that one room in the very back plus these kind of the walk-through room plus the back bedroom into like its own little suite and rent out the room, because the rest of the house would be big enough for just me and Peter. And, you know, if we have guests and family, they would obviously stay in the Airbnb side. And if we didn't have guests or family visiting, then we would rent it out potentially. So it was just ideas. I think this house is really big and full of potential, and it just there's so much flexibility that we could do a lot of different things. And then you go up to the attic floor. So it's, I don't know, in American, we would call it the 3rd floor. In the Czech Republic, it's the 2nd floor. It is a cold attic. It's just used for storage. We would not have the money to like, I don't know, fix it up so that it becomes living space. It would stay a cold attic. We just don't have the money for it. And actually, I was looking at the roof and I noticed that the roof tiles on one side are redder, look better. They look better than the roof tiles literally on the other side. So it's just like a pitched, you know, like triangle shaped roof. And on one side, I feel as if the tiles look better. And so, yeah, the realtor did say that half of the roof was redone like 10 years ago or something like that, but only half of the roof. So slightly annoying. We would have to probably, I mean, we'd probably end up, like, it wasn't leaking. So there was no water leaking. We could probably leave it for a couple of years, maybe. Part of the subsidy, the government money fund that if we got approved for, we could, oh, you can really see it here. Like the tiles on one side are like brown compared to red on the opposite side. But part of the government subsidy does, I think, include money for a roof. So we could wait until we get approved for the government subsidy. If we get approved, try and get approved for the government subsidy. And if we do, then we could do the roof. But in the meantime, I think we could probably leave it because it's not leaking. So it doesn't have like the vapor barrier or anything, even though they did do the roof 10 years or so ago. But yeah, I mean, it's not leaking, so that's great. That's important information. So basically, this is the whole house. We think it is a little bit big for us, but we were thinking, one, the whole bottom floor would be Peter's workshop, and he likes to say that houses are too big for us, but on the other hand, half of the house is just his workshop, so I don't think he can complain that much about his workshop being too big. And then the second floor of the house is kind of big for us, which is a concern with heating. However, it gets everything I want in the house, and we could potentially even create like generate some income if we created separate living spaces to be able to like rent out some of the rooms. So yeah, this is the backyard. It's not very big, but I think it's big enough that we won't have a lot of yard work, but I can still have a garden. So I'm fine with that. This house is connected to the public water and it has a well, but it's not connected to septic. So we would have to put in a new septic system. It's connected to electricity, obviously. What else did he say? Yeah, it has a well, public water, no sewer. So yeah, all in all, we are really considering this house. It is a bit over budget. Well, okay. We have ran the numbers, and if we don't need to put a new roof, we could make it work, which we don't because it's not leaking. And potentially, if we got the subsidy, the government money, we would have extra money. But right now, we have to consider everything without having the government money because it's not a guaranteed thing. So this house is 2.75 million Czech crowns, which is around 131,000 USD. And so it technically is in budget. We think we can swing it and get everything we want done. The biggest thing is that Peter just is worried about the smell on the first floor. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. This house is in a great location. We really like it. And it could be our dream home.